Hammer time!
Jim here from Japan. Thanks for joining. It is absolutely hammer time here in Japan. Hammerheads, unbelievable. I'm going to talk to you about 3 spots you can hammerhead in Japan, and one in particular is really hot recently. Stay tuned.
Break it down!
Okay, first thing, we're going to talk about the creature, the Scalloped Hammerhead. The Scalloped Hammerhead is like this. The shape on the front of the hammerhead, it is scalloped, hence that's what it is. There are 9 species of hammerheads. They're not generally considered dangerous. I have never heard of a scalloped hammerhead attack here. The Scalloped Hammerhead is known for its schooling behavior. If you look here on this map, here are the places they're known in the world. They travel with the currents in the Atlantic and in the Pacific. In the Pacific, they go up and down the coast of Japan with the warm currents, which we know as the Kuroshio, the black current, which is the warm current. In Japan, as I said, we have 3 areas. All the way down south, we have Yonaguni. Yonaguni, as you might have heard on National Geographic, is the area that people debate whether it's an underwater pyramidal structure or not, whether it's man-made or not. It's very interesting. I've never been down there. February is the time of year when the currents are bringing them there. High currents. It's a gorgeous sight. It's something for me that's a little logistically difficult, so I've never been there myself. However, if you're interested, it's a gorgeous sight, a lot to see there. The other sight that happens is recently, as the warm currents are increasing in our area, Oshima. Oshima, these hammerheads come right offshore, like 50 to 100 meters offshore and like 9 or 10 meters of water. I've seen them recently. They come only or predominantly at sunrise. And there's this one site, it's called Keikai. And you go out, you're in 9 or 10 meters of water, and you sit out there and the hammerheads will come through, typically in schools of 3 to 14. I was there, I think a year, maybe 2 years ago, and we had a big old parade of hammerheads come through. It was a fantastic moment, and it's one of the premier spots. However, it only happens during sunrise. So if I go there on a weekend, I only have maybe Sunday morning that I'm able to do it because we get there Saturday after the sunrise. The best spot recently to see is Mikomoto. Not to be confused with Mikimoto. Mikimoto is the pearl island where the pearls are gathered. This is Mikomoto. So up here, as you can see, is Tokyo, and this peninsula is what we call the Izu Peninsula, and all the diving happens around the coast on this peninsula. So if we zoom in, have a look, here's Shimoda off the southern tip of the Izu Peninsula, and if we look way out here, here is Mikomoto Island. From Tokyo, it's about a 3-hour ride. It's off the southern peninsula of Izu, off Shimoda. From Shimoda, it's about a 15 to 20 minute boat ride south out to a lighthouse island. That island sits in the middle of some pinnacles that come up off the bottom of the ocean, probably almost a kilometer deep. There are multiple cold and warm water currents hitting the bottom of those pinnacles, forcing the water upward, and what happens is those deep currents come with nutrients, which bring plankton feeders, which bring the creatures that eat the plankton feeders. The great thing about Mikomoto is anything can happen. As you can see here, they get their hammerheads, but they also get tuna, swordfish, whale sharks, mantas, turtles, other kinds of shark species, amberjacks. It's a bonanza of you never know what is going to happen. It's also a bit of a risky dive. Extremely high currents. I was there last week. I was in the most heavy current I've ever been in that I've had to hold on to. Right? Usually I'm drift diving in that kind of a current. I don't know. It was probably a 4 or 5 knot current because I was holding on and my regulator was free flowing, turning to the side. It was trying to get away. It was a serious strong current. How the dive works. Generally, what you want to do, the hammerheads, they're going to like the current. They're going to want to swim against the current or circling in a current area. We generally go through the site here, as you can see, and the hammerheads generally hang out in this area down here, going against the current. So we generally come in through Kamine, go south, and then the current hits us east, and we're going to hang out down here. Last weekend, what happened to me, You can see here, these are all videos from the dive site. Right now is going bonkers. Generally, it's a late August to early September is the high season. Right now, recently, in Oshima as well, the Kuroshio is going a little bit crazy. Call it climate change, I really don't know. But the Hammerheads are here in force. Recently, it's been an almost guaranteed Hammerhead show. Last week, I was there. I had the greatest dive of my life, quite frankly speaking. I went, and the second dive, we were coming through, and I was in, I don't know, 23, 24 meters of water. The bottom was at about 45, 50 meters. I was drifting out. I was seeing little spots of hammerheads here and there, and then bam, it opened up. I was looking at a wall of like, I don't know, 70 to 100 hammerheads. Bam, just opened up in front of me, all scallops. And I was coming out, I was drifting out sideways into it. I was getting really close to them. They were starting to kind of break around me. I was with a dive buddy, and it was just a mind-boggling experience for me. I had no camera, I was just experiencing. That school went away, and then after that, there was another school of 70 to 100. It just opened up in front of me, even closer this time. It was amazing. That one went away. A third time, I had another school of 70 to 100. This time, the school was coming more toward us. I was just remaining calm, and they were breaking around me. Maybe 20% of them were coming to my left. It was unbelievable. So the scalloped hammerheads, they're typically females when they're schooling like this, up to 2 meters. Generally, sometimes they get a bit above 2 meters. They generally don't show feeding behavior in the daytime. They're more nighttime feeders, but it was just amazing, calm experience being next to them like this. I'm going to tell you about the dive logistic itself. Maybe some of you find that sort of thing interesting, and maybe even some of you in Asia might come through and want to take this dive someday, so here it is. So you start off on the boat, heading out. Now the boats are different sizes depending on the operator. The operator I use has the largest boat. It probably seats 30 plus folks. They all have lift gates in the back for 4 to 6 people. And the boat ride itself is about 15 minutes from shore, straight out, right? So you're heading due south from Shimoda out on the boat. And as you're going out, there are these giant flying fish that are hitting off the waves. The flying fish get quite large. I think they're pretty large. So you're heading out there. Once it gets close, the captain's going to pull up in a spot of the island where the current's not strong. He's in a resting zone. He's going to, from the reports he's got, from looking physically at what he sees going on, he's going to let the dive masters and the dive leaders know where the drop zones will be. There's usually up to 3 drop zones there. So the boat will come around in the drop zone. The normal drop zone that I like is Kamine, and I'll show you that on the map. And when the boat comes around, everybody's lined up. You got your gear on, everything's in place, your mask is on, and everybody's lined up like a paratrooper, right? And the boat is going to come around to your drop zones. And it's going to pop, and then people are going to go out. It's not quite going to be a negative entry, but it's pretty close to a negative entry. On that entry, if there's anybody who has any kind of problem, that would be you're underweighted, you forgot some gear, you have ear problems, your dive is done, right? You're back up on the boat, and there's no way that's going to recover. So it is what it is. Right now, it's largely drift diving, and when you go through the site, there are kind of 2 ways to treat this site. One way is to go through and just treat it like a dive, and if you see hammerheads, you're happy, right? So there's a lot of structure down there, pinnacles, and there's beautiful stuff to see. Like I said before, there's all kinds of creatures there, all kinds of nice marine growth. You could go through, and then at the end of the dive, before you get blown off the pinnacles, maybe hang out and see if you could see some hammers. The other way to do the site is to dedicate yourself to the hammers. So you're going to swim right to the high current areas. You're going to hang there, try not to and not get blown off the pinnacle, and just wait there for the hammers. And then when it's time, release yourself. Now, I find that a riskier behavior. This last trip, that's the way I did it because the hammers are so active. That's what I came to see this time. My plan is to be taking this dive a bit through the summer and fall for some personal research. I want to learn more about this site. And while they're schooling like this, for me, this is a world-class experience. There aren't a lot of places in the world you can see them school like this. So I want to get all of this I can while the conditions are lasting. If you live in Asia and you'd like to have a look at these while they're lasting, You can contact me if you want to check them out, or I'll put some links here for the websites. There are websites that post here every day their conditions, but right now you can see from the websites I posted, almost every day they're getting these huge schools of hammers. This is a world-class experience, and I don't want to miss it. So stay tuned, I'll be posting it up. If you have any Hammerhead experiences you want to post up other places in the world, I'd be really happy to hear about it. If you have a question about Hammerheads at Oshima, Yonaguni, or Mikomoto, I'm happy to give you advice on that trip. We just passed 3,000 subscribers, thanks to everybody who contributed to that, and we're still looking to build that base all the time. So if you like these videos and you'd like to stay informed, please go ahead and subscribe. Okay, thanks everyone for joining in, and I'll see you on the beach.